Greetings, everyone. This is Cherie Ariano with the Divine Lunch Hour, and it is Friday, September 15th, and I'm so excited with my special guest today, Viviane Chauvet. Welcome to the show, Viviane. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much, Sherry, for having me. I know we've been attempting to plan this for a while, and then here we are today. This is our sacred time together, and it's wonderful to be
Yeah,
with each other. Well, we know that
yeah.
we've done multiple recording together, and whether it's
Hmm.
meditation, whether it's on your podcast, my podcast, so
Yeah.
we're it's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, Viviane is not a new guest to the show. She's new to the Divine Lunch Hour, but I've interviewed her many times on the Ascension session. So if Viviane is new to you guys, I encourage you to go back through the channel and look for other interviews of her. We've also done many meditations together, like she mentioned, and you can go and zen out with us. Those were always a lot of fun, and I feel like people really enjoyed the healing energies that would always come through for us. And of course, Viviane has her own channel as well, where we've rendezvoused a couple times too. So great friend, great guest of the show, and I'm so honored to have you here. I know you have a lot going on, so thank you, thank you, thank you. So,
Yes.
really quickly, I'm going to read your bio for the people who may be new to you. So, Viviane is an advanced Arcturian hybrid avatar. She's also a published author, an international public speaker, and the creator of the Arcturian Energy Matrix Healing and Arcturian Healing Arts Program. Her podcast is the infinite, or sorry, her show, her company is Infinite Healing from the Stars, and she's the producer and co-host of the Infinite Star Connections podcast. Over the past decade, she's conducted 22,000 private healing sessions worldwide for transformative changes in quantum evolution. Wow. Her presence emanates the radiance of the Arcturus 13th light dimension system, and we are going to learn more about all of that. But you can also check her out online at infinitehealingfromthestars.com. So, again, welcome to the show, Viviane. It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Thank you for introducing me. Yes, I know that sounds pretty impressive in terms of how many private healing session I've done, whether it's one-on-ones, groups, whether it's, in different format. I mean, in the last more than 10 years already, it's going on 11 years of doing this work now. Just time just passed. It's just
Mm-hmm.
amazing how many amazing people we've talked with, interacted with, whether it's family unit, whether it's private individual, whether it's was in different, group settings. It's just we've been applying ourselves to really ignite as much light only in people's life and their heart and for their own paradigm, but also the
Mm-hmm.
planetary paradigm we're shifting into. So listening to you reintroducing me, I'm like, wow, yeah, that was already a lot.
You've done a lot of work, and you have your hands in more than one basket, as they say, which is incredible that you and your team like can hold so much, and you're holding a lot of energy for the collective and for all the humans and people on the planet who need healing. So it's quite remarkable, the amount of service you're doing for humanity. So thank you, thank you.
Welcome. Yes.
Um, yeah. So for people who are new to you, can you just share with them a little bit about who the Arcturians are?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So Arcturians we know as an advanced interstellar civilizations. We one of the most enlightened and spiritually ascended known to this earth. So Arcturians vibrational level, our baseline, it's fifth dimensional frequency. This is the baseline we utilize to communicate. Whether it's with people here on channel, teachers, Starseeds, the earth. So we're utilizing the fifth dimensional frequency as a baseline of communication, but we really are going into all the way to the 13 dimensional frequencies. Arcturians are beautiful masters of light. We have reached a level of, how could I say that? A level of peace, completion, a level of advancement for over thousands of years ago. So we emanate directly from the Butes constellation, which is roughly about 37 light years from this quadrant, from this Earth solar system base. And over thousands and thousands of years of evolutions, we have become very prophetic in the mastery of the light, in terms of healing, in terms of thought projection, in terms of paradigm shifting, in terms of, living in complete harmony with the prime creator in all aspect of the multiverse. We are teachers and healers on wheels, because we assist so many other homeworlds. We're very much engaged and involved with other planetary systems. We work with such a large level of delegation on the interstellar level.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very much part of helping other civilization in their midst of their own catalyst of evolution. So we're here to support here on Earth the ascension process. So
Mm-hmm.
Arcturians are very much beautiful, elegant, elevated beings who vibrate at such a level of high frequencies. Their energy, their presence cannot be mistaken for any other civilization. They are unique in their own ways. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
Edgar Casey, the famous sleeping prophet Edgar Casey, multiple times mention the Arcturians and will mention his own interactions with them, and will go to our realm, interacting, experiencing who we are, and coming back. So I am very privileged to be part of such a wonderful interstellar group. They are my family. I'm a part of them,
Mm-hmm.
just like they are part of me, and that's true with my everyday life. They're very much engaged in what I do here on this earth.
Mm-hmm. Was there a time in your early youth when you knew you had like spirit guides or invisible friends, special friends, but you didn't quite know who they were? And if so, do you remember how old you were when you realized like, or when you learned their names and you could say, "Oh, these are the Arcturians," like you could actually identify them?
Well, that's a great distinction here between pulling a name to them and understanding that they're part of who I am. So I would say at that level, by even the age of 5, Sherry, honestly, by the age of 5, I remember being in kindergarten. So think about
Mm-hmm.
it for a moment. You, 5-year-old, you're in kindergarten. You're supposed to have a blast. You love school at that point because it's all play, all of it. For me, it was boring. I never understood the point of being there. And I remember being in conversation with this very, very, very tall being, and he was my father. And it's like, what am I doing here? I'm playing this
Mm-hmm.
role of a 5-year-old. And father says, learn, understand. This is an experience. Understand what children, the earth children, are going through. And I'm like, well, there's other ways to entertain ourselves. And they said, we understand, but at that level of where you are, at a conjunction of the awakening of the color consciousness, this is their interpretation of entertainment. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember having those dialogues by the age of 5. Now, in terms of name, though, that came later on,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't talk with names. Nobody call me Vivian. This is my earthly identity. You don't call
Mm-hmm.
me by Sumaya or Maya or Ita. You don't say like that. All we do is that we recognize each other's presence. That's a whole different way to identify ourselves. It's more in terms, Sherry, in terms of soul essence. Like I
Mm-hmm.
recognize your signature, you recognize mine. I know who you are, you know who I am, and that's it. So it's more
Mm-hmm.
in that sense. So the word Arcturians came much later on. I would say more in my early 20s. That's where the word came to identify, to put a label or an
Mm-hmm.
umbrella around who I was interacting with. One thing was clear though. I have always known that this is natural, this is normal, this is my group. And I'm part of that group, but for some reason, I have to go through all these weird experiences. And I was, as a child and teenager, I'm like sitting in a classroom learning history and going, this is all made up. This is not what it's supposed to be. And they said, we know, just learn for the purpose of learning. I said, okay, I'll do
Right.
it.
Just learn it so you can know what everyone else believes.
Yeah, just learn so you can
Yeah.
move forward in the grades. And you know what they would
Mhm.
tell me, Sherry? They would say, well, it is your choice. You can linger in time and make it longer for yourself, or just to learn to please them. And if we move forward, I said, I'll choose that option. So I will learn, move forward, please them, meaning the teachers, the school, the structure. I will please all of that. And I can move forward. And I did because I was going acceleration into my
Mhm.
school system. I became so entwined with it, understanding how the game works. So I'm like, okay, I became a very good student, and they would all love me. They could, I was extraordinary because I understood how things work. So I was just going through the process.
Mhm. What a great story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I could picture
Of
you,
course.
little cute 5-year-old Vivian.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a great thing that you said, like we recognize each other's signatures. And that's so true. I remember the first time I interviewed you in 2020,
Mhm.
the beginning of 2020, before everything went crazy. And we sat down together in that hotel room, and I was like rocking. My soul felt like it was rocking back and forth, like I could barely maintain my mental focus. And so when I'm with you, I always feel their presence. And they were just here like a minute ago, tickling the back of my head, saying, like, we're here with you, we see you, and thank you for your questions.
Love it. Love it.
So it's really funny. So are the Arcturians here to help, humanity evolve, or would you say, um, they've been part of this process for many, many millennia, and like they're just kind of monitoring the progress now? Like, where are they in that humanity's evolution process? Like, what is their role, I guess?
That's a good observation. We tied up with the Arcturian healing. Now, healing is becoming more of a huge, elaborate umbrella of that
Mhm.
understanding. It's more in terms of evolution, restoration, remembering. So we've been helping the earth realign herself first into the next level of grid system so the earth Gaia can really understand her own evolution. So Gaia can finally start to leave behind that density, that descending into matter and dualistic and polarization reality that she sustains so that many souls can learn from it and evolve from it. And so now Gaia, we've been assisting as much as the Earth herself because she's this beautiful, conscious, celestial being that we work with as much as we're working with the souls on the planet. So it's on and off planet healing in the sense that it's a grand return into shedding out this very old level of paradigm of sustaining life into this dualistic, how we perceive everything black and white, good and bad, all the labels, all these identity and pseudo identity we put on with the filters and the stories. So Gaia, we're helping her to shed all these overlays of history
Mhm.
and each layer of history contains so much encoding emotion, memories, imprints, wound, whether it's all the imprints of war, for example, or, the imprints of nuclear catastrophe, or when humanity became into more recognition, like, oh, when the fire was discovered, or when the first motor engine was invented, and all these cycles of historical changes on the planet. So we're helping the earth to help it transmute these layer of historical memories even in our own akashic field so she can
Mhm.
starting to get more light and become more luminous and start to bring it into a higher frequency so we can shift out of this three-dimensional baseline template into a more fifth-dimensional higher frequencies. And the same thing
Mm-hmm.
with people on the planet. We've been watching generation of starseed coming in and go, generational timeline of souls coming in and go, and how every time they put an imprint and they help either to raise the frequency or to simply clear the pathway because there is so much density, or heal their own wounds so the soul come back and they have more light and they can evolve into higher sphere of existence. So we're really supporting a multitude of assets in terms of Gaia herself, souls coming to the planet, souls coming off planet, and when they leave the earth, what does it mean to heal and release the third dimensional identities, what the soul experience, what they feel, what they, whatever they gone through. So we help the soul to heal themselves, restore themselves, and move on. So our role is very complex because we're monitoring a multitude of timelines and possibility at the same time, as much as we're working with a multitude of councils, intergalactic delegations, working with our point of contact on the planet and the earth herself. So there's so much going on. So the umbrella of Arcturian healing, in that sense, it's a very holographic, multidimensional approach to at what level are we working on. So we have group who are specialized and will be deployed at certain point, and then this is still within our collective because we're very recognizing each other. We're very close to each other. We're very, the Octurns, we know where we are. We know how to communicate with each other. We're always in touch with one another. So at any time I can send a thought says, okay, guys, you there? And I hear many of them says, yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're here, or we're right now we're busy with a Council of Saturn, or right now we're, a portion of us is with a delegation of the Pleiadians, or we're negotiating a peace treaty on this planet. So we're in a multitude of places, and yet we're still together all the time, which is the beauty of it. I know that makes any sense, but as an Nocturne, it makes so much sense. You're on mute right now. Your microphone is on mute, dear.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Have you met other Arcturians on the planet that you recognize as part of your soul family as a starseed?
Well, it's a good question. Have I met other Arcturians who are currently in incarnation in a physical human form as a starseed? I have met a few.
Mm-hmm.
Arcturians overall were not that many. So I would think of it this way. If you look at a pie and you were to divide a pie a different spectrum of percentage, we will be in the slightest part of the pie. We're not that many of us in physical. Now, from a
Mm-hmm.
perspective of how many billions of people are on the planet, it may seem a lot, but in reality, there's so many of us dispersed all over the world, so to speak. So genuine Arcturian star seeds, not that many. I have encountered a few. And usually when I am in the presence of an Arcturian star seed, there is immediately a soul recognition, and they will say, oh, I saw you, Vivian, as an interview or a conference, or I heard of you, and immediately I knew I have to connect with you because I recognize you. My Arcturian guide will say, yes, she's one of us, to connect with
Mm-hmm.
her. So when we're in the presence of each other, it's almost like there's a natural understanding. And even when we do eating session and I am in the presence of a Arcturian star seed, then there will be a different ways of communicating. We have this recognition, we have this understanding with each other. Now there are many
Mm-hmm.
people who work with the Arcturians at various level, depending on what is their purpose, what level of transmission they receive, what their capacity to hold these transmission. And there are many people who may have an affinity for the Arcturians because either they resonate with the frequency, it helps them to shift, evolve, or they may have an aspect of Arcturian experience as part of their soul ancestry. So there's a multitude of ways that people relate to us, but a
Hmm.
real genuine Arcturian star seed, I have encountered a few. Not that many, but
Hmm.
a few.
Thank you. I want to go back to what you were talking about earlier, with the evolution of Gaia, the planet. And you triggered a question for me, and that was like, yes, we're in 3D, moving up into 5D right now, but as I understand it, during the time of Atlantis and Lemuria, we were already in 5D back then, and we had more advanced technology. And then the Great War happened, and we kind of slid backwards and had to start all over. What are the thoughts from the Arcturian Collective on that timeline? And were they here, or was that like a catalyst to help them come and like help humanity?
It's a great question. So we were there well before Lemuria and Atlantis. We have seen the early stages of both civilizations, and we knew at that time that they would be two primal, timelines for the Earth, and the
Mhm.
potential going in one way or the other way. So the potentials of both aspect of complete elevation, where we will be completely ascended beings today, or going into destructions and descending, manipulation, distortion can also. So both potential were coexisting at the time. We were there in our Arcturian form. I remember Lemuria. I was assigned to other places, but I remember Lemuria. I am more I remember more Atlantis. I know I was more involved with Atlantis. And one of the things that Atlantis really stood out for us was their crystal generators or their crystalline temple. They were utilizing really sophisticated, advanced level of crystalline technology to really sustain the multitude aspect of the islands of Atlantis. And of course, with how they were, opening interdimensional portal so that many beings can come in and out, and the Atlantean can travel and have meeting with council and come back um, at will. But that's after, I believe I remember correctly, after 5 level of cycles, we can see that even though they reach a peak of the golden age, we can still see the potential of the downfall. And then with everything else that come down, from what we
Mhm.
remember in the history, but the Earth archives have all the recordings of all of this. And of course, in the intergalactic level, we do have the recordings as well. But we can see that the descending, what happened is that, in very simple terms, is the planet has descended so deep into multiple lowers octave of light and separation, the bend of forgetfulness, the disconnect took place, and that lead up to where we are today. And of course, there was other factors throughout history. But if you think about Atlantis, Lemuria first, and then Atlantis, there's still many souls on the planet who still are healing wounds from the memory of Atlantis, guilt,
Mhm.
feeling
Mhm.
responsible, feeling this deep sadness, grief, loss. Grief leads to loss. And I think that we are right now, we are shifting back into deeply healing and restoring the Atlanteans a timeline that will, in terms of contributing to bringing more light and sustaining the movement of the light that we're coming back. It is no longer necessary for no souls on the planet to hold so much grief, guilt, sadness, and distortion. It's time to, how could I say that, transmute these energy and replace them more with light, the wisdom, and extracting much more what we have learned from the Atlantean timelines and what happened, and the
Mhm.
opportunity we have today to make a difference, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that for the longest time, I had fear of tsunamis, like irrational fear of tsunamis.
Well, there you go.
And, I eventually traced it back to Atlantis thinking. And I also feel like I had time in Atlantis and time on Lemuria. Like I feel a connection to both in different ways.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, I agree with that, with what you said. And that actually leads me to one of the questions I wanted to ask you, which is, you do thousands of healings per year, and this affords you the opportunity to like see the collective, right? Like back up and see this big bird's eye view of everyone, because we're all one and we're all connected. Is there a particular emotion that needs the most healing on the planet, you know, as a collective?
Oh, yes.
I
And I
think
have
I know
2
the
words.
answer, but I want to hear you say it.
I have 2 words for you, my dear friend.
Mm-hmm.
Primal fear. That needs to be
Mm,
completely extracted from even the consciousness, the field of consciousness, and of the earth herself. Primal fear. Primal fear, it's a big root that's such a many levels of branches. Fear of fear itself, fear of not knowing what it is, fear of the unknown, core of unworthiness. I mean, it just goes, the list goes on and on. The primal fear is one of the grids that has
mm,
been implemented by other civilization, other intergalactic groups to come and manipulate and feed off of emotional energies, soul energies, mental construct, all of it. So,
mm-hmm,
fantastic question. If there's one emotion that needs to be completely transmuted, it's primal fear.
mm-hmm. And I thought you were going to say love, because fear is, the opposite of love. But so people need more love in their auric field. They need to like move out of the fear and into love so that they can release it completely, would you say?
Right. The question, the way we understood it, is if there was one emotion that needs to be removed, it's primal fear.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, the reverse of that system, the counterbalance is complete love. But love,
Hmm.
not in a romantic or romance way as it's been portrayed
Sure.
here on this earth through movies and human feeling and I love you, but cancel everything out. I don't love you anymore. If you don't play my field, I don't play my toys, and you're no longer my friend. That's not the
Hmm.
kind of love we're talking about. And we
Right.
know that.
Yes.
It's understanding love as an ultimate frequency, a state of beingness. It's the substance of all. We're rediscovering even what the word or the energy of love really means, and
Hmm.
that's also going to heal a great deal of stigma and wounds, and being deceived and lied to, and where am I going, and who am I, and all of these mental construct that
Hmm.
more people are coming out of. And one thing that I know that we feel very keen to share is never give out your power and your authority and your light to anything. And that includes technology, devices, AI, and all of these
Hmm.
mechanical branches that right now a subgroup wants to bring to the planet as a way to divert people authority and truth and who they are, their true power, so they can, give up their authority to something like that. We said no, 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 no. Choose the
Hmm.
organic timeline of ascension, organic, not artificial. Uh-uh.
Hmm. Exactly. And that was going to be one of my next questions as well, is like, you mentioned that at the time of Atlantis and Lemuria, there was a timeline split, or we had an option to go this way or that way, and we went down. We descended instead of ascended. Would you and your collective agree that we're in that time of choosing again? So we're kind of again faced with these two timelines of ascending or descending, because I feel positive. Like I feel this positive timeline of like, yay, everyone's waking up, everyone's on their ascension path, everyone's healing their shadows. And then there's like this counter, like insertion of this push for AI and, this massive global reset, and like there's all these agendas that are supposedly coming online. So it's a two-part question. One is, are we at a crossroads, if you will? And then also, what do you think about these people who say there's all these big events coming in the next 3 months?
Well, it's a complexity of question. I like that. I like the diversity. There's multiple layers to what you said. So let's explore together. Let's take a deep
Okay.
dive. Okay, so yes, are we giving in a golden opportunity to learn truly from these historical timeline like Atlantis, Lemuria, Atlantis? 100%. Are we given opportunity to choose and stabilize the organic timeline of ascension? Yes, we are. We are right at that point. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, there are those who are being influenced, whether it's they call themselves physicists or scientists, or they feel like there's more of a, how could I say, more artificial way to for the population to ascend. And one thing I'm really a huge defender of is leave the children out of this. Leave the children out of the AI and all of these false pushing, because children of, especially the new ones coming in, the ones of the children of yours at the same age of yours, Sherry,
Mm-hmm.
and all moving forward, they come here with such a level of purity and frequency level that we most overall population are unable to understand, that we have to
Mm-hmm.
protect them and encourage them to tap into that power that they contain within themselves, rather than relay of on an AI. How do I write a letter? How can I express emotion to my friend? Can you help me to rephrase my letter? That's
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of the disconnect of another potential timeline and a branch. And I've seen it. And it may sound crazy for those who are
No,
listening.
it's a really good point. Keep going, but I'm like seeing it play out as you're talking. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. It is a really good point. And I am
Mm-hmm.
part of different group. I had a pleasure of speaking at different panels, whether it's, monthly groups or when I travel, and I start to see sneaking in what I call those weeds coming in, even in conferences, spirituals versus AI, ascension versus technology. And I'll tell you the potential it can create, because we see it just like Atlantis. You mentioned that, Sherry. And
Mm-hmm.
Atlantis, the potential, those weeds start to creep in. Hey, we're better than Prime Creator. We can utilize all these mental capacity and faculties with those crystal generator to do what we want and push it to the envelope and do better. And let's do that field. And we
Mm-hmm.
came and tell them, you are co-creating right now a subroute, a subline in your timeline, and if you sustain it, you're going to manifest it and go for it. But you're going to feel what that timeline is. It's a subroute that you're co-creating right now. We told them. I
Mm-hmm.
remember being there as an Arcturian during the Atlantean timeline. Now, at the same time, it's the same thing is recurring right now. Is that branch to the organic timeline? There's another sub branch. It's just start to push into all this technology and scalar wave and plugins and all of this. That's fine. You're learning from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stepping stone. Everything is a learning curve. But never give up your power, your divine light, truth of the power you contain within yourself, to feed into these technology or these AI to so-called better your life and helping you to reach enlightenment. This is not enlightenment. This is an
Mm-hmm.
impression of an aspect of enlightenment. Yeah, my cat agrees with me. She's a Lawrence. Of course she's going to agree with me.
She put her tail.
I will fairy tale. She's the famous girl. She knows internationally. Huh? You see my feeder. She
I'm
knows
listening.
internationally. So we just want to bring mindfulness in terms of what experience you want to co-create for yourself, your family, your children, and the generation to come. If you want to come in that line, you're going to experience it and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
evolve that way. But we, the Arcturians, and many other groups, like your group, Sherry, like the Syrians, the Lyrians, the Mer people, those who come from other places, even from Alpha Centauri, the Tau City, the others who are part of more of, we're here to support the organic timeline. We're not here to co-create with you a sub-branch because some infiltration wants to divert your authority and convince you that this is a way of spiritual
Mm-hmm.
ascension. Think about the Atlantean. Look at what happened. Look at even the time of Lemuria, and if you want to go even beyond that, look at any grand empire or civilization on this planet. What happened? Somewhere, somehow, there's been a distortion, a belief system that says we can do better, we can co-create false paradigm, we can go for it. And we
Mm-hmm.
says you're going to experience what you need to experience. But again, what are you choosing? What are you sustaining? Where are you
Mm-hmm.
every day? What are you feeling the most every day? It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really good point. Thank you so much for answering my complex question. And I could see like there, I'm in social media and I'm a creator and a content creator, and I can see this huge push for AI,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to writing. And, even my email application now has AI built into it. So it's another way of giving away our power, right? Like, oh, I don't want to write this email. You write it. I don't want to
Mm-mm.
write this campaign. You write it. It's an
Mhm.
easy. Yes, it's convenient, and yes, it might help save you some time. And I guess time is our most valuable asset. But I could see how it starts as like a little trickle and then it grows, right? And eventually, as it becomes more embedded in all the different software programs that we use, in the terms, there could be one sentence that says, by agreeing to using the software, you're giving away your authority. You're giving away your power. Like who knows? We don't read those terms and conditions. We don't read the fine print,
No,
and so it's a contract, right? Like it's a soul contract that we're signing by clicking that I agree. And even though you think like, oh, it's just an email or it's just a Facebook post, it's not. It's what's behind the scenes that's happening that people are unaware of because their third eye is not open. They don't have the perception yet to see the bigger picture and the long-term effect. So thank you for mentioning that because I don't think anyone's thinking about that yet. Well,
no,
not
we
anyone.
are
Obviously,
Arcturians.
you are.
Oh yeah, we Arcturians. That the thing is that we can see. We are millions of years old, so we remember a lot
Mhm.
of historical loops repeating itself, repetition, pattern. We can already see, like you said, it started by something, but it's so helpful. It helps with marketing. It helps me to build this. It helped me in my spiritual business or my spiritual journey. And you have to find, like you mentioned so beautifully, Sherry, the fine prints. How far are you going to go with this? And
Mhm.
I ask to be shown a bit further down in the future, a potential future timeline. And I've seen a potential about this. I know.
Is it glim like or glib? What's the right word? Glib. Like, do you see, a lot of walking zombies? Like, I feel like we have a lot of NPCs on the planet. Like, are we gonna have more NPCs because AI takes over? Like, is that a potential timeline that you've seen?
It's a branch. That branch has emerged as a result of the rising of the light and as a result of more acceleration in the consciousness. So, in order to
Mm-hmm.
regain control, that branch start to be created. Those are pushing the agenda so hard. I want to ask them, what are you really gaining from them, from this?
Mm-hmm.
And what is your source? Who's behind this? Who promised you what? Power, more authority, more followers? I'll tell you, you know what I would like to do? I would like to find a designer, a graphic designer, to create a sketches, like a cartoon sketches, that says we have these really advanced being that comes to the planet, and they feel now your numbers on Facebook are not big enough. Go work on your numbers. No, you're not a published author. We cannot listen to you. And seeing these ET being going, the humans want numbers. What numbers are they referring to? And not understanding what is it that you want. And it's something very similar we're seeing. It's just we have to
Mm-hmm.
start to realize that, do we have a more mentalized approach to spirituality, or are we going to approach this from soul evolution? Because when it comes at the soul level, it doesn't matter how big your numbers are on social media. It's like a card, like at school. If you had those certain score, you get some points. I
Mm-hmm.
remember getting some stickers or getting eventually, a bonus. But at the end of the day, none of it matter. It's
Mm-mm.
who you are, is who you represent. How are you representing the divine in this lifetime? There's no card with, oh, my YouTube channel is so big, better than yours, or, this person is super big because of her number or their numbers or her numbers or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is. That's what it is. That's all started. The seeds, the blueprint of the fine contract. I'm not going to look at you because your numbers are low on Twitter's. It's like, it
Right.
means
Right.
nothing to us. Nothing. What it means
Mm-hmm.
is looking at you, your light, we can see you. So this timeline of the AI, how does it have to do with what we just talked about? Everything. Because we start to get programmed to start to think that way, and we start to project what spirituality and ascension look like, and we'll start to feed that paradigm. I have many
Mm-hmm.
clients, Sherry, comes to me, goes, oh, I use this machine, it's a frequency or bioresonance or whatever name that is. And it helps me. I says, okay, let's see what level it helps you. Does it help you to relieve pain off of your body? Great. But what have you learned from this? Is the issue that caused this pain and the decoding of your body, the language of your body, has been decoded and learned and interpreted properly? No, I still don't know where that come from. Or it doesn't matter, the pain is gone. Yes, it does, because you missed the point.
Right. Good point. I don't want to know where the pain comes from. Let's just make it go away.
No,
Well,
and the
it's like the
machine,
aspirin. It's the aspirin mindset, right? Just pop
it
a pill and it'll go away, but now it's a machine.
exactly, or it's a
Mm-hmm.
frequency, or it's a device, or it's a chip. Who's the chip come from? Who programmed it? For what purpose? What are you
Right.
learning about yourself?
And
Because
do they ever know?
exactly, no, it's like, well, they told me it's good, so it's good. It helps me, my knee feel better, or I breathe better, or my stomach feel better. Okay, for today.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, at the soul level, you've learned nothing. It's just
Right.
like you said, an aspirant became a machine. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to take it further, let's bring AI. AI will tell you how to write an email to your friends or how to write a heartfelt message to your followers. I don't need AI to tell me what to do about that. I don't need
Mm-hmm.
that. What I need is understanding the the gift at a soul level that I brought with me. I need to re-understanding the divine design, the soul design that I brought here for this earth. It has nothing to do with AI. And I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you, it has a double-edged sword, because I did a very big interview this morning. It was pre-recorded. And in the middle of bringing such a high frequency message, magically my screen blanked out.
Hmm.
There was nothing on the screen, just black out of
Wow.
nowhere. And so it came on, and the host went, okay, what just happened? And I said, well, let's do it again. And then we start to talk about blank.
Wow.
So one of the hosts, there's two of them. One of the hosts says, well, it's the frequencies. Yes. Because AI can says, no, I don't want you to go past that level. I'm gonna help
Mm-hmm.
you reach up to that level, but I'm gonna create a platform, like a ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so we have to be mindful in terms of how much we give power to what and how far this can go. And there's
Right.
nothing being negative about it. It's for us to bring mindfulness, presence, divine energy. Bring
Mm-hmm.
yourself back. Where are you? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that uh, we face that in the spiritual community, right? Like here we are as healers and energy workers, and our main job is to bring the light and to heal people and help people heal themselves. And we're faced with, well, what are your numbers? How many followers do you have? Da 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 da. It's like that programming mindset of what is your self-worth. So self-worth is now being equated with numbers, not how much light do you carry in your heart chakra? How much light are you spreading out into the collective? Are you here to serve humanity? That is less important in a way, which is interesting times, because I feel like, we, in this ascension, we are kind of like, we've come out of this very scientific and math and numbers paradigm, like this time of science and everything has to be proven and facts and da da da. And if you can't see it, it's not real. And we're moving into an age of light where people are starting to wake up to their gifts. They're starting to see things they can't understand or explain. They're starting to hear things they can't understand and explain. And, I have a client who, like, her gifts are all coming online, her clairaudience, all her clairs are coming in. And as her frequency raises, different beings pop in the room and check her out when she's meditating. So they create confusion as to, like, oh, are you my guide? No, are you my guide? What, who are you and where are you from? And it's really interesting that so this is tying back to what you said about they feel the frequency and they hit you at like a level. They like cap you off. You can't go higher, because as we raise our frequency, they're watching us and they can see it when we raise our frequency. And then different beings will come in, whether they're reptilian or Syrian or archangels or whatever, they'll come in and check on you and see if they can enlist you to work for them. So you really have to know who you are at a soul level. And if you're Syrian, then work with the Syrians. If you're Arcturian, work with the Arcturians, Don't jump around and make sure you know why you're here on this planet at this time. But yeah, I know I went off on a tangent a little bit, but I feel like it's all connected. And, frequency is definitely being monitored on the planet right now.
Absolutely outstanding. I love what you said, Sherry. Thank you for adding this very important layers to it, because it's very intertwined. People may say, well, what does it has to do with Arcturian healing? Everything. Healing is also the realization of where you are, like bringing yourself back into a point of anchoring. Are you an anchor of light, or you're feeling this line of, well, this is how I perceive my gift as I'm becoming more clairaudience, or I can hear
Mm-hmm.
tones, or I'm more sensitive to different form of light languages, or I'm starting to see more through my third eye. If having your gifts, being intuitive, communicating with your higher self and your guides is one thing, but you need to
Mm-hmm.
what we call the spiritual maturity to understand what those gifts are for, and who gets to be in your field and who is non-authorized to be in your field. So that higher discernment, it's part of the matching of your gift coming with your higher consciousness, the awakening of consciousness to back it up. The Syrians are a prime example of this through their history. We know that part of what the Syrians have learned a great deal among many things is if they share high level of technology or advanced knowledge to our civilizations, they will be like, whoa, we got all this and now this information and this technology, but there's a lack of spiritual maturity to back it up. It may lead to more distortion than it will do good. And we say that with
Mm-hmm.
great love and respect. Every civilization have gone through different level of evolution. It's to simply
Mm-hmm.
giving everyone the tools of empowerment to rediscovering what is within you. Your inner universe is the most unexplored and misunderstood universe of all. So there's no need to have these plugs in to tell you really who you are. If it can help you temporarily with a conscious understanding of what you're doing, okay, stepping
Mm-hmm.
stool, stepping step. learning steps, learning to the ABCs, rediscovering yourself, but never give up your
Mhm.
power. Add the profit of saying, I'm going to hold that at a highlight, and this is the way we need to go, because there's too much still polarized, mentalized approach to what being a spiritual or light worker is about. Start to
Mhm.
ask different questions, explore your inner realm. Ask every day, okay, today, how can I support my heart today? How, Gaia, where are you right now? Where do you need the light the most? How can I support you? You don't need
Mhm.
any machines for that. You don't need an AI to tell you. Today, Gaia needs love in her grace.
An app. You need
Click.
an app on your phone.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I, a long time ago, I worked for Amazon for a very short time. And I've seen things, all these devices, Alexa and everything, they listen to you. They record every
Mhm.
conversation you have. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
listening to children talking in the bedroom as a translator, and I said, I cannot do this here. Here's the job. Thank you so long. And I'm out. Where's the door? And they showed me
Mhm.
the door, and I took the door because this was completely beyond my core values, my ethics, not only as a person here on this earth, but also as an intergalactic being. I don't want to listen
Mhm.
to children conversation, to Alexa machines, or even,
Right.
husband and wife or family in their home, and I have to translate and decode them so that they can study what's going on and perfect their AI technology. I know I
Right.
sound
So they
pretty,
can send you the right ads, to buy things.
yeah, I know I
Yeah.
see it firsthand.
That's crazy.
Mm.
I know. We're being listened to all the time. And, now it's our phones or our laptops or whatever. So,
Oh, I know. This is why my screen blank out in the moment when I give a beautiful messages of the Arcturians. Magic, the screen blank out. I'm like, oh, come on. Let's just
mhm.
reset. And I like, no, we're
I, ho-
taking
I
the power back. Reset.
I hope they didn't lose the recording. I hope they still got it
So they
this
did.
morning.
I trust that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, awesome. This has been such a fascinating conversation. And even though it kind of went in the direction we predicted, it also had all of these beautiful extra branches of divinity. So thank you so much to you and your collective. And I would love to ask you, like, what do you have coming up in the next few months? I know you have a lot on your calendar, and I would love for you to share with people what you have going on.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. So we're going to Egypt. We're going to be part of the Stargate Experience mystical tour. So we're going to be leading a beautiful group into very specific sacred site, working with also the oceanic grids to the Nile, and going to many temples, Egypt, and then we're going to be at a global gathering for the Stargate Experience in Greece. So I'll be presenting a workshop there. Our workshop is more, yeah, so we can talk in a workshop. I'm going to be presenting there and doing meditation, of course, doing more healing work, working also
Mhm.
with the Atlantean timeline, right we were at the Greek islands. And then when we come back, I'm going to be on different summits. I'm going to be on Beyond the Ordinary. I'm going to be on Straight Talk for the Soul. And I'm going to be on also your Self Empowerment Summit with Laurie Anderson and Lauren Gailey. Um, and of course, in January, we're going to start our Arcturian Healing Arts program, which is a 3 months online program. It's a hybrid between learning, healing, activation, experiencing, and being into that setting alongside with the Arcturians. We're launching our third version of the program in January 4th, 2024. So you can time to sign
Nice.
up. Yes, we have already people signing up from different countries. I mean, the last two programs, we had people from about 20 different countries already signing up.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it is really awesome. So, and we're already preparing 2024 with speaking engagement at Conscious Life Expo in February in LA. We're going to be there, Peter and I.
Mhm.
We're offering workshop lectures. I'm going to be on two panels. I'm going to be on the Fade to Black Life event in Scottsdale in April with Jimmy Church. So there's going to be much more.
Oh,
I'm,
wow. In
I'm going,
Scottsdale.
yeah, I'm going to keep attempting to keep track of my new website launching. Also, I have a brand new website launching coming up. So yeah, there's
Awesome.
lots of movement.
And same website, right? InfiniteHealingFromTheStars.com.
Yes, the name is the
Okay.
same, but we're simply redesigning for a brand new deep experience with more activation, energy, movement, depth, and so that's coming up too.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. I know it's going to be launched any minute now. So, everyone watching this video today or in the future, please go check out Viviane's website at Infinite Healing from the Stars. And I know you're on all social medias, right? You always say, find me everywhere. I started using that too. Find me everywhere.
I'm me everywhere. Um,
It's really awesome. So wonderful. If you guys have enjoyed this conversation, please like and share this video. There's a lot of beautiful golden nuggets that came out in our conversation today. And hopefully, lots of people will gain valuable information from this interview. So thank you again, Viviane, for being here. I will have to check in with you again, maybe in December, and see what's new. We didn't get a chance to talk about a few things, but maybe we can do this again, and learn more about what the Arcturian collective is seeing in the collective on Earth. So that would be wonderful if you'd like to come back on the show in the future.
and of course, Sherry, I'm always happy to be in your presence, and also thank you
Oh,
for all the amazing work that you do. I know you bring so much as well to the plate in your own uniqueness, and it's amazing to see you expanding as well. So anytime, my door is always open to you for sure.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I miss our time together doing meditations with people. That was a lot of fun. So hopefully we can do that again in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. So, everyone, thank you so much for watching today. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're also going to be on Rumble, so you may be watching this on Rumble. Please subscribe there as well. And if you happen to be on TikTok, you can follow us there. We're also on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. So, thank you, everyone, so much for watching today. I'm going to put your website up one more time. Please go check out Viviane at Infinite Healing from the Stars, and have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Blessings to everyone.